Nick, 2 minutes till it starts.
Yeah.
You should be inside.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wait.
Nick, there we go.
There we go.
All right, Mickey.
Oh, okay.
Just pressing the.
All right. Nice outfit.
Yeah. Realistically, these days, you need a bulletproof vest, don't you?
Oh yeah. Get out of your way.
Lawyers are just dying down in the cells these days, so can't be too careful.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, I haven't been in town in like 2
This
weeks.
good for you?
I
Can
just
you
woke up
see
to a
over?
slew
Do
of
you need me to
texts,
put you
so
over
you know.
there?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Let me know if you need me to move you.
Appreciate that.
I'm gonna let go right here, so you can walk as you please, and then I'll put you up there when they're ready. Okay?
Hey, Nick.
Walk,
Royal?
really?
I know, I was
Wow.
really hoping you would have caught that. I was really hoping you would have caught that.
Nick, come here. I think you should ask Mickey why, on the stand, why he's in a wheelchair, because it was, I believe he was helping officers at the time when he got shot. So just to show that the journalists do
really
try
need
and
at least
save
an hour.
lives of officers, you know?
That dependent on if he brings a lawyer?
No,
Or
I'm
relevance?
still saying, nah,
Fair enough.
It is relevant.
Alright.
You're just trying to establish that they get into awkward situations all the time that are dangerous, and it's on themselves.
Are you gonna be getting some coverage in
I'll
tonight,
add that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some stuff. I'm gonna take some notes and all that.
Alright. I think we had a last minute change of judge, so you'll want to talk to Judge Bailey about that.
Alright. Sounds good. Is that him right
That
there?
is if the defendant actually arrives.
Hmm.
Who's the counsel for defense anyways?
He didn't have any last time, so I'm assuming he probably just wants to defend himself again.
Okay.
Mickey, do you want some ice cream? I have it in my pocket.
Yeah, we'll have some ice cream. Damn.
Okay, I have ice cream for everyone. Do you want chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate, of course.
I'm very vanilla.
It's vanilla's the better.
I figured that for you, Nick. Alright. Here, pass out some ice cream.
Thank you.
Oh god damn, it's vanilla bean too, the good stuff.
Why
I
am
think
I
I would cheap
nervous?
out on you, Nick. There you go.
So I've never actually been in any trial. Like I've watched, but I've never like.
Hey, you'd do fine. Just be truthful.
All right. Well, I mean, I always am.
I know, but that's what I say to
Video
everyone.
evidence
Be
speaks
truthful.
for itself.
Exactly.
Hey guys!
Hello there,
Hi, Francis.
It's me, Francis, the police guy. I'm here for a case.
Yes, you are. Do you have any legal representation there, Francis?
No. I did it last time by myself, and I did okay. I did okay.
Alrighty. Everyone here then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yep.
Alrighty. Can we get this started then, ladies and gentlemen?
Here we go.
Yeah, is that a yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Now
yes,
it's
Your Honor.
time to
Yes,
ask
sir.
Bryant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you much. Appreciate that. Alrighty.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Would be okay to grab some footage for Weasel News? If that's possible.
Yep, that's fine.
Sweet, thank you.
Alrighty. Go ahead and get this started. Let's see here. We have, and I apologize, it's kind of last minute change here. This was supposed to be Judge Coyote, so I'm stepping in for him. We have Mr. How you pronounce your name?
Kyle Rogain.
Rogain or Rogan?
Rogain.
All right. What the court show is Mr. Kyle Rogain versus Mr. Francis Francier. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
All righty. Are both sides prepared to give their testimony and call their witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
All righty.
We're going to be doing
Court is
openings.
now in session. Presiding Judge Bailey. This court is prepared to hear Kyle
Yep.
Rogain versus Francis Francier. All righty. Do me all a favor. Would you raise your left hand for me? All righty. Those giving testimony today, do you swear and solemnly swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you? Who?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, I swear.
All righty. Perfect. Thank you much. Mr. Rogain, your lawyers, if you go ahead and pronounce your names for me, would you?
Nick Hamilton, Your Honor.
And First Temple, Your Honor.
All righty. Perfect. Y'all may proceed.
That's you.
Your Honor. Congress
Yes.
shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The First Amendment. There are always exceptions to something that reads as simple as this. You will hear today how a young, professional man went out of his way to avoid any clear and present danger, not alone, but with the CEO of Los Santos' prominent news publication. You will see the plaintiff's video camera, a tool of expression and free thought, ripped from his hands in the feverish rush to detain him. You will hear and see him being detained, his First Amendment rights made a mockery. You will hear how the plaintiff was forced into the back of a police cruiser, driven against his will a distance away, and unceremoniously dumped to make his way back to his destroyed property and vehicle by foot. We are here today because the First Amendment rights of a young independent journalist were violated while working his profession when no clear and present danger was to be.
Thank you much. Randy,
What?
Oh, I was gonna.
would you like to make any opening statements there, son?
No. Thank you.
Duly noted. Alrighty. Mr. Rogain, would you all like to call any witnesses?
We would like to call Kyle
Yes.
Rogain.
Alrighty. Go ahead and step on up there, son.
Here, Your Honor.
No, over here.
All right.
Watch the glass there.
Yep, I kind of tripped.
Happens every time.
Mr. Rogain,
Yes.
what does your job as a journalist entail?
My job as a journalist entails recording and also noting of various activity that goes around the city of Los Santos.
Can you tell the court what happened to you as it relates to this matter on the 2nd of February 2020?
What happened to me is I I was recording, as I sometimes do at the MRPD, but I was not actually at the MRPD. I was on a public sidewalk on the bridge overlooking the MRPD. I was recording, overlooking the prisoner intake, and then I was approached by Mr. Francer over there, and along the altercation, he basically threw me in cuffs, told me this is me violating your First Amendment right, because I was trying to tell him that I'm allowed to record, because one, it's a sidewalk, and two, it's a public building. And then he drove me off underneath the bridge, dumped me, threatened me, and told me to walk back as punishment.
At what lengths were taken to avoid any clear and present danger?
Could you refine that?
You were witnessing someone being arrested, I assume, behind the Mission Row Police Department.
I had just arrived. I'm not even sure what was even going on back there. I just saw lights and I went to go look.
For what reason did you take a position up on the bridge instead of down by the gate?
Because often I just want to avoid the police cars itself and don't want to get in the way of any traffic going on.
Right now I'm going to be referencing Exhibit 3, video evidence.
1 second, find that. I don't see anything here for that. Actually, 1 second. It's never mind. I found it.
Ready for me to continue?
1 second. I'm just watching it here on this iPad. Alrighty, you may proceed.
At 0 seconds in the video, when the defendant demanded you place your hands behind your back, were you given a chance to put away the camera you were holding?
No.
Were any charges filed against you following your detainment?
No.
And what reason were you given for your detainment?
Expressly that he was violating my First Amendment right.
Were you taken to the Mission Row Police Department cells after being detained?
No.
Were you taken to Bolingbroke Penitentiary after being detained?
No.
Where were you taken after your detainment?
Underneath the bridge by the Los Santos bus station.
Were you given any reason as to why why you were taken there?
So let me stop you right there. You've asked the same question a few times. Yeah. Move on to the next one. He's answered that a few times for you.
That's all from me.
Alrighty. Francis,
to add?
you may question him.
Nope, all good.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm Francis. Nice to meet you.
Well, we've met before, but hello again.
Thank you. How many times were you asked to leave the scene?
I don't believe there was a scene going on. It was a public sidewalk.
You were filming nothing, sir.
Well, I was filming an overpass overlooking the MRPD police intake.
Where? Okay, so you were filming the police intake area, sir.
Yes.
How many times were you asked to leave?
I don't recall.
Can you recall if it was more than once?
I'm not sure actually. The event kind of startled me, so I don't fully recall.
Oh, okay. So, okay. You were startled and you can't recall the event entirely. Okay, thank you for your honesty, sir.
All right, is that all?
No, Your Honor. During the altercation, who were you with at the time?
Mickey Rivers.
Hold on, son. I'm gonna stop you here just because of this. You can ask those questions the first time around. It has to remain within the same scope of Mr. Francis's questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Was any backup called to the situation?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, was Mickey Rivers detained?
No.
Hey, once again, there, son. Keeping in mind he was asking questions where regards to how many times he was asked to leave. You have to keep it within those confines.
The best of your knowledge, was Mickey Rivers asked to leave the scene?
I'm not too sure. We both had a brief conversation with Francer when he pulled up next to us. But to be completely honest, I don't remember the entirety of the verbiage exchanged
No more questions
until I was
from me.
being thrown in cuffs.
Alrighty, son, you must step down.
Thank you.
Can I not ask something else?
No, Francis. It goes typically
That's
this
okay.
side. If it's his witness, he goes ahead and asks the first questions. You get to rebut that. And
That's
if there's any
okay.
questions afterwards that happen to be need clarifying based upon his answers that you asked him, then they go ahead with that. Now, typically you can ask the forward witness, which
Just
you
seemed to go out
do.
of scope about secondary vehicles there is all, because
Mhm.
it appears in the video evidence there in fact is one.
Would you like to note that?
Yes, I'd like to note that.
Okay, duly noted. I do see a second vehicle behind the first one. Alrighty. Mr. Rogain's counsel, would you like to call anyone else up?
No, it's okay.
I believe he's talking to me, Francis.
No,
No,
he's
I'm
talking to
asking
you.
you guys. The three of you.
Yeah, he's asking us. Call up Mickey.
We'd like to call Mickey Rivers to the stand, Your Honor.
Alrighty.
Mickey Rivers is currently in a wheelchair, so if it's okay with the court, Royal Anderson will be taking him to the stand.
Indeed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Rivers, did you raise your hand to be sworn in earlier?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. It was just hard to see it over the railing.
Indeed, it was. Alright, just making sure. Come on up.
Oh no. There we go. Can you see Mickey?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
How are you today, Mr. Rivers?
I'm all right. I could be better.
You're currently in a wheelchair.
Yes.
How did you obtain the injury that led you to being wheelchair bound?
I was shot in the course of reporting the news.
Objection, relevance.
Is this relevant to the actual case there, son? To the incidents of Mr. Francis?
I was just trying to establish that journalists in this city are often in danger, Your Honor, while performing their duties.
I'm gonna go ahead and overrule that. You may ask the question.
What does your job as a journalist entail?
Well, you know, as journalists, our job is to make sure that the people of this city are informed of any newsworthy events going on in the city. That includes crime, business ventures, entertainment, any events that are going on, you know, corruption within government. There's a vast array of different topics that we cover.
Can you tell the court what you...
What's there, son? Corruption in government, huh?
That is something that we always keep an eye out for, Your Honor.
Indeed. Anyway, sorry for that. Keep going there.
Can you tell the court what you witnessed as it relates to this matter on the 2nd of February 2020?
Yes. So, Mr. Rogain and I had parked in front of MRPD, and we noticed that there were some lights that appeared to be coming from a police cruiser at the prisoner intake area in the back of MRPD. And not wanting to get involved in any sort of police operation or, make them think that we were trying to, go in through the gate or anything like that, we went up onto the bridge overlooking the intake area where we would have a clear view from a safe and non-threatening distance in order to record what was taking place for the purpose of journalism. At that point, Officer Francer pulled up next to us and essentially made the claim that 2 journalists holding cameras were threatening his personal safety, I believe is an exact quote, and asked us to leave. At that point, he got out of his vehicle and told Mr. Rogain to put his hands behind his back. And before Mr. Rogain had the opportunity to do so, he forcibly pulled his hands behind his back and handcuffed him, causing him to drop his news camera onto the ground. He then put Mr. Rogain in the back of his car and sped off, yelling some sort of threat at me at the time. I don't remember the exact words. I ran into Mr. Rogain later as I was driving away from MRPD, and he appeared to be running from the direction of Pillbox Medical and the Los Santos bus station.
At any point, were you asked to leave the scene by the police department?
Officer Francis did ask us to leave the scene, yes.
If you can recall, was it multiple times or one time?
I believe he said it once, and then he said it a second time after saying that we were threatening his personal safety.
What about this situation had you bringing up your camera to record it?
Merely the presence of police sirens at the intake. We wanted to see what sort of prisoner was being brought into MRPD, so we went up on the bridge.
Let me rephrase that. What about the situation between the plaintiff and the defendant had you bringing up your camera to record it?
Oh. I mean, honestly, I brought up my camera to record it because I felt that there had been no sort of lawful order given or any sort of reasonable explanation as to why being on a public sidewalk on a bridge was threatening the officer's personal safety. And so I brought up my camera to record the incident on the off chance that the officer did something that violated our constitutional rights.
Was the officer in the car when he gave you the order to disperse? In his police cruiser?
Yes. Yes, he drove up in his vehicle and never exited the vehicle until he got out to put Mr. Rogain in handcuffs.
Were you detained at all during the situation?
No.
As the CEO of the state's prominent news company, what impact would a not guilty verdict have on your day-to-day operations?
Can you clarify that? I don't believe this is a criminal proceeding.
Yeah, there is
If
no guilty or non-guilty here, son. It's
I know.
a matter of
Fuck.
did it happen or not, and damages that being inferred.
What impact can a detainment of this caliber have on your business as the CEO of the most prominent news company in the state?
Certainly there's a concern that my colleagues and I would be harassed or impeded in our ability to capture the news, which is of public interest.
Thank you, mister. No more questions.
All right, Francis. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. I'm Francis. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you again, officer.
Uh, you stated you were on scene with this other man, correct?
Mr. Rogain, yes.
Yes. There seems to be a discrepancy. When you said, I got out of the vehicle, where were you standing at that point?
On the sidewalk, next to the parking lot that the police vehicles are kept in, but on the bridge, like above it.
How far away was Kyle from you?
I believe that's evident in the video. I couldn't necessarily estimate that myself.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Y'all have any clarifying questions over there?
No, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Would you come up and escort this man back down for me?
Yeah, of course, Artson. Or Your Honor, sorry.
Excuse
Your
you.
Honor. Sorry.
What was that man's name, please?
Mickey Rivers, officer.
and you can ask the judge now if you'd like to call Francis.
Thank
as
you for
a
accommodating me, Your Honor.
witnesses as well. He may not let you though.
My duty.
It's up to Francis.
Alrighty.
Easy.
So Francis.
Y'all have anyone else
Yes.
to call up over there?
Your Honor, we'd like to request to call Francis Francer to the stand.
Yes, please.
You agree to this, Mr. Francis?
Of course.
Alrighty. Go ahead.
Hello, Francis. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, sir.
As it pertains to the situation on the 2nd of February 2020, what clear and present danger was present?
I, Francis, noticed a man wearing a bulletproof vest standing above people where we've been shot from previously multiple times in a very similar scenario while transporting armed and dangerous criminals. That man with the bulletproof vest.
Being a police officer, you would get around the city quite a bit.
Yes,
Is it
of course.
how often would you say you see civilians wearing bulletproof vests?
Very, very rarely.
In the line of duty, is it not common knowledge that EMS asks just about everyone if they're wearing a vest?
I'm not EMS, sir. How would I know that?
I'd assume you'd have frequent interactions with EMS as a police officer.
Yes.
Referencing Exhibit 3 again, Your Honor. At 0 seconds in the video, why did you handcuff my client?
If the video wasn't cut halfway through the situation, there'd be more evidence to say so. As they said earlier, I came on scene and asked them to move multiple times, in which, what was his name? Mickey Rivers actually walked down the road, which is strange because of the inconsistency in which he said he was next to Kyle when he was filming approximately 30 yards away. They were detained for safety reasons and moved along and asked to move.
When you were asking the defendant, the plaintiff to move, you in or outside of your police cruiser?
I believe I pulled up next to them, wound down the window, and another cruiser was next to me, also talking to them. I can't completely recall, but they could definitely hear me, and my lights were on.
Did you see any weapons or firearms?
No.
Hold on one sec. Just for a court clarifying question, was that police vehicle on scene before you had arrived, Francis?
I don't actually recall. I believe we probably got there around the same time as we were all moving as a unit. There was, I believe, 2 or 3 people shot down and police were shot at the same time. And now general security measures, because we've been shot multiple times from this area, is to secure the bridge and make sure nobody's looking over us, especially at nighttime. It's hard to see people.
Thank you. You may proceed with your line of questioning.
Why was the plaintiff not given a chance to put his camera away?
He was. Like we said before, he was asked to leave previous to this, and he didn't.
On exiting the vehicle, as evident in Exhibit 3, asked him to put his hands behind his back and then proceeded to forcefully detain him.
Yes.
When you stepped out of the vehicle, why was plaintiff not given a chance to put his camera away?
He was already given a chance the first 3 times I asked him.
No more questions at this.
Alrighty. You step down, Francis.
Thanks.
Normally, if you have counsel here, they could ask you questions as well, but seeing as you're representing yourself, it's kind of an awkward situation.
I could ask this man to ask me questions. I'm not sure what he could ask, though. He is a lawyer.
Yeah, I'll be his legal representation to ask him questions. If you're fine with it.
Do you consent to this, Francis?
Oh, it's fine. I don't mind. I like to get to the bottom of things.
Just like that,
Do have to
he's
have
gonna fuck
the
us.
team agree with this as well. Are you all in agreement to let this happen?
This is your
Big
decision,
up.
Nick.
He does have a right to legal counsel if he wants it.
I'm fine.
We agree,
I'm
Runner.
yes on this.
Alright.
Alright.
Highly abnormal.
Hey, Francis, come on ahead and step back up.
It is abnormal, but I believe everyone deserves the right.
Yeah, it's his right.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Am I good to go ahead and start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so just let me know if I'm within scope or not. Alright, Francis. What was your PC for arresting the defendant? Or plaintiff, excuse me.
He wasn't being arrested. He was being detained and moved for security purposes. He was aware of this. I said I would be detaining him. And when I said I am violating his rights in the video evidence, I say apparently. I don't say I am violating. I said I'm apparently doing this because he was one of those YouTube guys, you know? No, he's violating me. I'm a sovereign citizen type people.
Okay, so were you mocking him?
Partially.
Okay. Is mocking illegal?
No, sir.
Okay.
Unless it incites violence, then it can be a problem.
Okay. Did it incite violence?
Of course not.
Okay. With that being said, how many times did you ask him to leave the area?
I cannot completely recall the exact amount, but it was definitely multiple times. And his friend did actually leave. That's why he went down the road to the corner to film. They were, in fact, next to each other to begin with.
Okay, so was his friend the one that was filming in the video and evidence?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes, actually, yes, that's right, yes. He's the one that moved.
Okay. Did you let him go afterwards?
Bridge.
Did you come
Yes.
back and... Okay.
I only moved him for the safety of my officers, myself, and him as well.
Okay. Could you have charged him with anything for not moving?
Possibly obstruction or something like that, depending on what had happened. But disobeying an order or something, perhaps. But I didn't think it was necessary. I just wanted to preserve life.
Okay. Is it illegal to film on a public sidewalk?
No, of course not.
Is it illegal to disobey a peace officer?
Yes.
Is it illegal to disobey a lawful order?
Lawful order.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
And when you were asking him to leave, were those lawful orders?
Yes.
Okay. One second. We're just looking over the evidence one more time. 1 second, Your Honor.
Take your time. It's fine. I realize you just stepped into this.
Okay, so in Exhibit B of the evidence from the plaintiffs, it says here, and I quote, Officer Francer followed us onto the bridge and made a ridiculous claim that we were threatening his personal safety as well as known news reporters for holding cameras. Is this true?
I have no idea if these guys are news reporters or not. He's wearing a bulletproof vest in dark clothing. There's been so many times people will do undercover scenarios, even in a hospital with doctor gowns and everything. It's crazy. But it's not only my security
I'm the
I was
CEO of
worried
Weasel
for,
News,
his as
dressed the
well.
way I always do when I'm
As we
holding a
have been
goddamn
shot at
camera.
previous to this in similar situations.
He doesn't snow the fedora.
Okay.
I wasn't dressed like this. I was
Are
dressed
you
the way I
able
dress every
to
day.
tell me the definition of kidnapping? Roughly?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
It says here in Exhibit B, Your Honor, and I quote, Officer Francer, after being kidnapped from the bridge, I'm wanting to make sure
I'm not
that
a lawyer.
it's put out there, the legal definition of kidnapping before this gets out of hand.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
If you don't know Francer, just let me know.
Are you asking for my personal opinion on what kidnapping would be?
I'm asking, in the state of Los Santos, what the definition of kidnapping is.
I believe it's to hold somebody against their will with a weapon. I'm not exactly sure of the words, but it's something like that.
Okay, just for the clarification of the courts, kidnapping, the definition of kidnapping reads off from our penal code as abducts another person, holds them against their will. Detaining somebody as a peace officer of the state considered holding somebody against their will and abducting them?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it might be against their will, but it's not abduction.
Okay. Is it legal?
Of course.
Okay.
I don't believe he's acting as a cop.
Well, he certainly didn't say anything about detaining him. And why would he take him to a bridge?
Thank you, Francis. Sorry I'm taking so long.
Court documents reflect that. Anything else there, Mr. Hallow?
Yeah, sorry. How did you place the defendant in the cruiser?
I don't recall, but just like any other ones, I don't think I searched him or anything. I just put him in and moved him to a safe location, away from the scenario.
Do you remember, like, if you threw him in, just sat him down like any other person, or like did you violently throw him into your cruiser?
Of course not. I just put him in the vehicle like any other suspect. They're all humans, and I found the kinder I am to criminals, in fact, the kinder they are to Francis.
Okay. Did you tell him that he had to walk back after taking him out of the car and out of the cuffs?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I dropped him near the hospital from memory.
Okay. All right. No more questions, Your Honor.
Thanks.
All righty. Mr. Hamilton, would you like to go ahead and ask any further questions?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Keep it in mind based upon the questions and answers provided here.
Absolutely. Mr. Francis.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Francis.
Francis, Nick Hamilton.
Hi, Nick.
The Vespucci Boulevard Bridge, that is a straight road, correct?
Objection, scope.
It's still within scope, yeah.
Oh, is it? We didn't talk about any street names or streets.
Well, he did mention where it was, where he was dropped off at that point, and it was close to apparently that, so I'm gonna allow it.
It's okay. Depends on which curvature you're meaning, because if you mean on flat curvature, no, it's not actually. It's a bridge. It's curved.
Right, was there direct line of sight between the plaintiff and Mickey Rivers? Mickey Rivers being the gentleman who filmed you.
You see it in the video. He's looking up the bridge.
Stated that Mickey Rivers moved away. That's correct?
Yes.
How much of a difference does 30 feet make if you're fearing for your safety as a police officer?
It's not only my safety. The police intake is below that point. So in shootouts around Los Santos, the higher ground is generally the more powerful ground. People use little mirrors to look over things and then shoot you in the top of the head. So him being down there is significantly different. He can't shoot through a wall, can he?
But you know who Mickey Rivers is?
I do now. Yes.
Why did you not ask the plaintiff if he contested to a search?
Pardon?
Consented.
Why did you not ask the plaintiff, Kyle Rogain, if he consented to a search? Contested,
There was no
sorry.
probable cause for that. Wait, contested? I'm confused.
So I don't think
Sorry, Your Honor.
was discussed at all regarding the search of this person.
I mean, I don't mind answering questions. I just don't know what you're saying.
Your Honor, if I may, it was discussed, but Francis said he never searched him. That's the only thing that was said.
That's what I recall here.
Sorry. Why did you not ask if he consented to a search to allow him to continue filming?
That's not the point. It's not only Francis's life I worry about. My job is to protect and serve all people in society. Him, the police below him, and myself. If there's another variable involved in a shootout, everybody in that scenario has a higher risk.
Detain the plaintiff, stating that you feared for the safety of yourself and the officers down in the intake area. And
Yes.
you approach the client, my client, with relative ease in the video.
Yes?
If you're fearing for the safety of the officers and yourself, why did you not ask him consented to a search?
Because I wanted him to leave, and there was no probable cause or reason for me to search him at that point. I'm not implying he was going to shoot me. I didn't know what he was doing to begin with. He could have. His life is a danger, just like everybody else's. I must protect him too.
A good answer. No more questions, Your Honor.
All right, Francis, you may step down.
Yeah, got what we wanted there.
Councillor Hamilton, y'all have anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so give me the magic word. So to know.
We
Ends
rest,
with
Your
an
Honor.
S.
Yeah,
Do you want to
We
read
rest,
the
Your Honor.
witnesses, Francis?
Thank you. All righty. Councillor Harlow, you have anything?
There you go. He might ask you if you want to do like your own statement before closing, but it's up to you.
If you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Say again, Your Honor.
Do you have anything, or would you like a recess to speak with Mr. Francis here?
Yeah, give me like 5 seconds. So if you
All
go
right.
up there and make a testimony,
in
you're just going to
recess
tell
for
your side of
5
the story.
seconds.
Do you just want to skip that and go straight to the closing?
I want to...
Okay, yeah. So you want? I can go and you can go up and go up there and do a. I can ask you a couple questions. If you want to do that. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. I'll just be your co-counsel. Just go up there and say you want to waive your 5th Amendment right. And you're
Yeah,
gonna give a
Mickey, just so
testimony.
you know, there was a death in the city
Am I
about an
able
hour
to
ago.
give a testimony, sir?
Oh my God! Who?
Judge Bailey.
Boba Stone, I believe, EMS worker.
Wait, who?
Oh my God! That's terrible.
All righty.
Go.
Right, you good?
Yeah, I'm only co-counsel for this one because he's still self-representing. He wants to know if he can go up and give a self-testimony.
Well, it would be beneficial if we did an opening statement there. I will give at least some information about it.
I was
Go
under
ahead.
the impression that anything in the opening statement and closing statement can't be used as factual evidence inside the court.
Well, yes, it's hard also when you didn't have any counsel to begin with. But go
Yes.
ahead. I'll allow it.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead, Francis.
Do I just say
Damn,
it
he's
here?
good.
Oh, you got to go up on the stand, Francis.
Over here, Francis.
Okay, thanks.
Fuck, I love.
So I just give my count of events?
Yeah, well, if he can answer the questions or ask the questions, get everything down there, yes, technically you can give the full testimony. Keep in mind,
Okay.
you are on the oath at this point, and it has to be pertaining to the recollection of events that happened during this time in question.
Yes, of course.
All right.
So we were involved in a shootout. Multiple people were being moved. Usually in a shootout, we will have to secure perimeters to make sure that no civilians or myself are being injured. So me, under the guise of my command staff, they told me to clear the bridge and get all civilians out, in which I did. That's what happened. That's my statements.
All right. I'm going to take over a judge question here for a second for you, Francis, if you don't mind.
Okay.
For the events when they were filming, the people being intaked into the bottom of Mission Row PD there, yes? That was after a shootout had occurred.
Oh, they were getting ready for transport from memory at that point. So they were going to take a bus, and 93.7% of the time when we take a bus, we get shooted.
I see that. But were those individuals before involved in the shootout?
Yes, more than likely. I believe so. I can't 100% remember, but it was to do with a violent shooting. I'm pretty sure, yes.
All right. At what point did you notice these individuals filming?
As soon as I got to the bridge.
Is he claiming that we're part of the
And I was
shootout?
told to clear that one there. I saw
And
that man with the vest on.
Let me clarify that for you, Francis. Was it before or after you were leaving MRPD?
No, we were getting ready to secure the perimeter and move them.
All right, thank you.
I don't think questions.
Okay, am I done?
Yes, I think that's good
Nope,
enough.
none.
Thanks.
All right, you might want to get back up there, Francis. They can't ask you
Yeah, what?
questions with it.
You have to go.
That's all right, Your Honor. We have no questions.
You have no questions? All right.
Oh, thanks.
All righty. Co-Counselor, Mr. Howell and Francis, y'all have anyone else? Or anything else?
You don't want to recall them or anything, Francis?
Yeah, I'd like to recall the man whose camera was was it stated that it was broken?
Yeah, it fell and broke.
Yes. I'd just like to see if there was any damages brought forth to provide evidence of this.
Let's see here.
Oh shit. Okay.
1 second while I check the court docket.
I get my broadcast camera
I'm
from
gonna-
Costco.
What the fuck?
It's
all right.
100 pallet packets.
In evidence submitted, there are 2
Princess.
statements in 1 video. I do not see at any point in time any damages to any video camera.
Okay.
I'm gonna motion
Alrighty.
the video
Is that
dismissed.
important?
So, Francis, Mr. Hallam,
Because
Counselor
it
Hallam,
barely gives any evidence. It's not complete.
let me hear the magic word.
I'm actually not gonna rest yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna
alright
try
then.
something super. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I'm motioning to dismiss people C or the plaintiff C.
Under
The
what
video.
grounds?
The fact that, like Francis said on the stand, there's literally nothing before the video of him actually getting put into cuffs. So there's no evidence saying that he didn't do anything illegal and he wasn't told multiple times otherwise besides testimony. And that doesn't
That's the
give
only
fair
video
trial to
footage
the
I actually
defendant or
filmed.
a fair case as well as fair evidence.
I can't submit video that doesn't exist.
It's
Your Honor?
literally showing the only thing he's guilty of in the video, and that's it, and no other evidence.
Your Honor, there was no filming before that. I can get Mickey Rivers on the stand to testify to you under oath if you'd like him to, but that is when he pulled out the
I think he
camera.
already said under oath they were filming when I arrived.
And Francis literally told them to put their camera. Your Honor, I'm talking to the judge.
showing
Francis
very
did tell them to
and I
put their,
didn't get
to walk away and
I wasn't
put
looking
their
through the
cameras away
camera,
multiple
so I
times.
don't have any footage
Come
that
on,
I
It's
could
fine.
both of y'all
submit.
come up here. Sidebar.
Who? Me and Francis, or the? Oh,
No, Mr. Hamilton and yourself, Mr. Hallow. Alrighty. I do have on here that it was being filmed at this point in time. Was Mr. Francis afforded the opportunity to review the full video evidence?
as far as I'm aware.
Yes, Your
no.
Honor.
Your Honor, what is submitted by Mickey Rivers is what we have been told is the full evidence from his point of view. He was not filming anything before that at that point of time. The other gentleman, Mr. Rogain, whose camera was damaged and all the footage was lost, unfortunately, because of the damages sustained. We don't
Wait,
have
I'm
any
sorry.
evidence
I'm really
on
sorry. I
that.
didn't. Did you say that the defendants, that was the defendant's camera you're talking about?
Carl Rogain, yeah,
Okay,
his
okay,
camera.
alright.
So we only have Mickey's footage, and that is all he had filmed at that time. It was Mr. Rogain who had been doing the filming before that.
Hey, nice wheels. What happened?
I see that. So, let me.
I got shot trying to save Officer McCree's
All
life.
right, then. Francis, can you keep it down a second?
Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
That was very painful.
All
Just
right.
so you're
I don't see
aware
you
as well,
have
Your Honor.
statements About, this says cameras and damage. I don't see anything here about
I do have respect for
loss
police. I'm just here
of
to testify as
footage.
requested in my court subpoena.
Though it is not submitted, I see that.
Also, Your Honor, I have it on
Yes.
authority that the first presiding judge did reach out to Francis Francer to get his acknowledgement of the case and the filing. That was at least a week.
Alrighty.
I don't-
I don't think that's relevant to this.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we arguing that he had, like, I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to go back and forth. Are we trying to? Are we
You-
saying that, like, he didn't look at the evidence, or what are we trying
Yes,
to?
I do have a Fagio Sport as
I mean,
a
I
mobility
do
scooter. They're great.
understand that the judge just asked if Mr. Francer had time to look over the evidence.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I see where you're going now.
I'm saying the full video evidence. If that is the start and finish, that's fine. Now, if there is anything before that or after that, he'd still have to have access and availability to review it.
That's
See what I'm saying here?
As far as we've been told, and Mickey Rivers sitting over there on his
Well, I can't
wheelchair.
speak to that.
That's messed up.
well,
Mr. Rogain is not my employee.
I didn't mean that. He's a good friend of mine in that regard. He said that is all he has, and he does not have anything else. That's exactly when he started filming, and he honestly wishes that it was before that, because quite frankly, it would be better for our case if it was before that.
Well, I'm going to allow it to still be here, Mr. Hallow.
Okay,
It is evidence and it is pertinent to the case, so I'm still going to allow it to be submitted.
okay,
Alrighty.
all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yep.
As cameras.
So,
So it's like hard to outer and bolt now
Alright,
because
I
I've
got
had
just
so
to
many
review for
shred.
everyone else here, pertains to
No,
that
I wish.
information.
I
We
was a
are
little
still
close,
going to
though.
allow that video evidence in submission to be reviewed by the courts.
Yeah, I
Alright.
agree.
Anything else over there, Mr.
Yeah.
Hallow and Mr. Francis?
No, defense rest, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Go ahead, Counselor Hamilton et al. If you have any closing statements, go ahead and make them.
Thank you, Your Honor. To subject the press to the restrictive power of a licenser, as was formerly done both before and since the revolution, is to subject all freedom of sentiment to the prejudices of one man and make him the arbitrary and infallible judge of all controverted points in learning, religion, and government. William Blackstone, 1872. So, Your Honor.
Just say protect and serve?
I don't
All right, Francis.
like
Or
14,
Counselor
23,
Hallam.
I think.
Either one of y'all.
Like a long
I'll
time
do
ago.
it. Hey guys. Let me just grab out my notepad. I scriptured some drawings in the middle of this to remind myself of what to say at this point in time. And just so you know, I'm not very good with speeches, so this might be stuttery. Please don't laugh at me.
We're not here to laugh at you, Francis.
First and foremost, hello, my ladies. How are you?
We're good.
Fantastic. Okay, second, listen. I'm here trying to be prosecuted by people who say there was damages given, and they have provided no receipts of any damages or no evidence of said damages even happening. Both these people, actually it was Mickey that claimed himself that it's often that news reporters get shot because they put themselves in the line of fire. Just like in this situation, it was a very likely event that there was going to be a shootout,
Misstatement of
and he could get
testimony.
shot and end up in a wheelchair just like he is, guys. And I, as a police officer, need to save these people so they don't have wheelchairs. We don't want more people in wheelchairs, guys. Also, Kyle is over here claiming that he can't even remember most of what happened, but he's out here giving evidence on parts that would insinuate I've done something wrong. I've done something wrong, but he himself has admitted that he can't even really remember it. So I don't know what else to say. And obviously the inconsistencies of both of these men, claiming that they were together and not together, and the video evidence proves they weren't even close to each other at that point in time, which would indicate a lapse of video that's missing, because Mickey claimed they were together at the start, and they were not, clearly in the video. Thank you. Thank you a lot. I didn't do anything wrong. I just secure a perimeter for safety. Thank you a lot. I'm Francis, and my superiors told me to do this. Amen.
All
Not
right.
bad.
Thanks.
Not bad.
You're welcome, there. So, what's going to happen? I'm going to go ahead in the back, force and recess for a period of time. I'm going to go ahead and make some deliberations. After that's done, I'm going to go ahead and explain what happens, if there is anything awarded or not awarded, and give reasoning behind it.
Damn it.
All righty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you much. Talk amongst yourselves and be civil, please. Courts of recess.
I've really got to run to the toilet. Right back.
And I'm never gonna live down accidentally calling the judge Artson instead of Your Honor in the middle of this.
Well, that's not even Artson as well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
It's
it's
different judge
Bailey.
entirely.
Yeah, I'm never gonna live that down.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't tell you to take those cat ears off.
I have been wearing them the whole time.
No, okay.
God,
I just put them on.
instead of the flying cop,
We
I figured they weren't court appropriate.
if you were hungry,
just
You know-
you can knock Mickey's hat off at least.
That's what I've been saying. The fedora. Only Kenneth can pull off a fedora.
Yeah, we also should have stated that I would have had the rest of the altercation on camera, but you know my camera was destroyed.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what he actually said in the sidebar, so he knows that.
Okay.
Okay.
I
That seemed
pulled
like a
that out of
very
my ass.
powerful argument,
Yeah, that's true.
given that, there are only certain circumstances wherein I can even submit footage, and I submitted 100% of the footage that I had.
it's really
Yeah, we
uncomfortable.
made that quite
guys
clear
notice
that you submitted 100% of the
Oh my
footage,
God,
and
my toes are touching, guys.
Kyle's footage was all damaged.
I would have loved to have footage of the entire conversation because it would have cleared up quite a few things.
That's what I actually said to the judge. I said, we wish we had before that because it would have been better for our case.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been very clear that from the very beginning, you know, we identified ourselves clearly. We were holding cameras. You know, we literally asked him why we should leave. Kyle asserted his First Amendment right and then got detained.
Yep. Yeah, I think we got across well the that there was no clear and present danger on him, which is where he started off from.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
that was the part
because
that
he was
made
in the
no
car.
sense.
Because
Fearing
he was
for
in the
his
car.
personal safety with 2 news reporters standing there. Also, making the argument that we get shot all the time and then somehow not understanding why Rogain would be wearing a vest.
Yeah, and also I'm volunteer EMS, so you know.
You know,
True.
I mean,
That's
literally, where you were filming, just you go down those stairs and into the left, and that's where Chris McGraw got shotgunned to death.
Can you guys also hear Francis still?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Are
not you.
we? Okay, good.
You get used to it.
So, Nick, how does it feel to do your first case?
It's pretty fucking nerve-wracking, to be honest.
I can only imagine. I don't think I could stomach being a lawyer.
It's not for everyone.
I'll just stick to getting shot a lot.
You're gonna make me
or
bleed to death.
stabbed.
Yep. Got stabbed. Definitely done that.
My blood pressure's just gonna go through
Honestly,
the roof
being a
already.
journalist is a hard job.
It's
It
true.
is.
That's why we need
It
the
really
vests.
is.
Hey, Jerry, fucking 20 grand. I ain't pay that shit.
I'm gonna go get this.
Alrighty, is everyone back here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bro, we're back, bro.
Francis, I'm not your bro, man.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Ice cream
It is
Oh,
fine.
that sounds amazing.
and Oreos.
Come on.
Oh my god.
Larry,
Anyway.
she's Oreos.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
I can't feel my face.
Oh my god.
Larry, did you give him...
What the
I
fuck?
think just go on with it. Just let's go ahead.
Alrighty. Anyway. Court is now back in session. I will deliver my verdict at this point in time after my deliberations. Yeah.
Francis, you've got to get your shit
So-
together.
I want to thank y'all for the case today. I understand that it might have caused some emotional
fucking
trauma,
God.
or may have, or might not have, based upon the context given here. I understand it's a very vague statement here, but also the evidence was very vague as well. I'll say this because of in evidence 3, it is taken within context of, frankly, 20 or 30 seconds and does not capture beforehand the full aspects of what had happened. Now, to describe this information, you're asking for $5,000 in special damages, $10,000 in punitive damages.
What are you doing?
Now, within the context here of special damages,
Take
there's
this
nothing
water.
defined as to what was damaged other than a camera, but there's no evidence submitted of the cost of the camera or anything else associated with the camera for either repair or
Fuck.
something special.
I reached
about
out to
these
him
special
specifically
damages.
for this too.
There's nothing special about these damages whatsoever. Now, in terms of punitive damages, keep in mind, describes an invasion of legal right, whereas in harm describes a loss of detriment to the fact an
Punitive
individual
damages are
suffers.
meant to punish.
In courts, will
Especially
typically
if you can
only
prove
do
ill
so if
intent
the plaintiff at
or
this point in
malice.
time can prove that the defendant engaged in intentional or wanton willful misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
Given the information provided in the testimony heard today, I will not be awarding any special damages or
There you go,
punitive
Francis, you win.
damages to Mr. Rogain.
Like,
That hearing in court is now closed.
Oh, thanks, Judge.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do you want those
2 for 2,
Oreos and
Francis.
Frosties?
Y'all got any more of that good shit?
What about next time, guys?
Have a nice day, officer.
Yeah, let's go
I'm
get
happy to
chicken,
answer any
bros.
questions y'all may have about that.
No, that it makes sense, Your Honor.
I understand. I'm just
I
curious.
just kind of, was kind of traumatized by him, but
Well, here's the thing, right? Punitive damages are something that you have to prove was harmful or malicious, right? So essentially, you're penalizing someone for doing this. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
yes.
So I don't have any evidence beforehand that suggests the fact that he did or did not ask y'all to leave. Correct. So the
Correct.
fact
But he
that
also threatened me under the
it-
bridge,
it-
and I believe I stated that.
I don't have anything with that. It's one statement versus another. You see where I'm going at here?
Yeah.
and unfortunately we can't bring up the previous incident or any other instances where this same officer's done pretty much the same thing. It's
Well, you actually kind of can if you do it appropriately. If you have evidence that is similar to what he's done or has done in the past, you could use that to build character.
we'll remember that for
understand
the
that?
next time. Yeah, understand. Realistically, I think we probably should have pressed on the First Amendment right a little bit harder to actually be filming there.
Well,
The fact
I just
that
want to clarify that First Amendment right. Yes, it does 100% give you the ability to film police officers for an arrest. 100%.
yeah.
Though the moment they ask you to stop, that is a cease and desist. So that's the second part of this, right?
To an extent, though, like if there is police misconduct happening, would you expect my clients to stop filming?
I film corrupt officers quite on the regular.
Chris McGraw got shotgunned to death at that exact location 5 meters from there, not a week ago.
That's irrelevant
wish
to this
we-
situation.
I understand, but I wish these journalists were there at that time.
Take it back for a second. You gotta understand everything is a binary within the courts, ones and zeros, right? Does this apply to
Yeah.
the situation? Yes or no? That's the decisions I have to make with this, right? So, regardless of the fact, there's been breakouts, there's been everything around it, right?
Yeah.
But to this situation in a scenario, and why I asked the question, were the people involved earlier in a shootout? Yes.
The people
That's
that were
specific to this situation and scenario
Yeah.
and the people being transported.
yeah, my
Correct.
clients didn't know if they were or not.
I understand
But yes,
that.
I understand why you asked
But-
it. Yeah.
If they ask to stop filming, that is a lawful order at that point in time. Yes.
It is, yes, but to an extent, they still need a reason for it, and they.
Well,
The,
Your Honor, may
I'm
I
sure
ask,
Mickey
in your
can
opinion,
just.
what defines a lawful order?
Thanks.
Sure. So within their rights, which once again it is within the rights to actually film a police officer, anything that they do say or command basically at this point in time that may impact the safety of one or others involved in the direct line of duty or the people being in this case transported, if they find it in the best interest of time that someone's safety is at risk and they need to secure the perimeter, which has been established at this point, that can be a lawful order to emanate from the premises. Yes. So that's
If
where I'm
we
going
were
on this
aware of
context.
all those facts, Your Honor, yes.
All right. So if there's an active situation going on, which is exactly what I'm taking this as, they can absolutely 100% give you a lawful order to leave the premises.
But as a journalist, how are you supposed to know it's an active situation without them coming in? I mean, outside of them just coming up and saying, "Please leave the scene." Everyone's going to see it as
like by cops. For,
I mean,
even arriving near.
Yeah. I mean, certainly I asked Officer Francer what was going on and why he asked us to leave, and if he'd given me an answer to that question, I certainly would have taken his request as a lawful order, but there was nothing that indicated to me that there was any sort of active scene, which is why I did not treat it as a lawful order.
Yeah, police always ask journalists to not film and leave, even when they're not
That's
even
pretty
at
much
an
just-
active scene.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's the
much just
standard.
daily interaction.
Oh, I understand that. I hate it as well. I do ask, but it's still within your rights to film me. If it's in my face, I just have to say no. That is what it is. But the fact that you all mentioned that there are active sirens and lights coming from that area still makes it active. There is still
Well-
something happening. Y'all filming it from a distance, sure, that's safe. But the fact is, they still use that area, right? They've been shot at from that area.
I'd
Hey,
imagine there
I
isn't
didn't
many
think it's
areas
a
they
little
haven't been
powerful,
shot
but
at
okay.
from, though.
All right.
I understand what you're saying, Your Honor. My
Y'all
main
had-
concern was just knowing from our end how we would know that it was a lawful order.
Well, the fact that there was 2 police officers there and he did ask, type of thing. Now,
I don't
understand.
even remember the second officer, to be honest.
He asked it to be noted there as the second police cruiser at that point. And that's
Yeah.
when I had asked, was there 1 or 2 there that came up, or when they arrived on the scene?
Yeah, Kyle,
there
the
was
second
both they had
officer
said at the
arrived
same
right at the
time.
end when he was detaining you. It was just Francis until right there at the very end.
Okay.
I
Well, you see
don't
what-
even
you
know
see
who
what
the
I'm going
second
at here?
officer was.
The fact is, y'all had it good for a period of time. He frankly didn't bring up a whole lot until he started poking holes in the story. Y'all needed to have your story straight. Did he ask? Did he not ask? How many times you asked? Where were you? And all that information needs to be included there. That has to be consistent. The fact there's a lot of inconsistencies here that he could poke holes through, and you only gave me, what, a 30-second clip in y'all's statements, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So,
Unfortunately,
y'all-
that's all the evidence we had.
I understand that. I can't make a full verdict just upon that.
Yeah. And that's I guess that's the rough thing we keep coming up against officers, because everything they seem to do seems to be where people can't be filmed, or when there's only them and someone else around. It's a rough one to sue a police officer in that regard.
Well, you're allowed to film an actual arrest. That's entirely correct. But once they order you to stop because of my fear with safety and safety of those around, then you need to get out. Alrighty?
Understand, I just would have thought they maybe would have blocked off the
Alright.
bridge if they thought it was that much of a safety issue. There were people probably walking past and everything.
If there were any sirens, I certainly would have mentioned it in my testimony.
I see that. So, second part, just make sure if you're doing anything with damages, you have something that says a proof of receipt, proof of purchase, anything that proves 5,000 of damages. It's a figurative number that you put up there.
I understand
for
that part, Your Honor.
reference- For reference in that regard, if we had a receipt for a camera, would you have potentially found in favor of that, considering the cuffs were put on pretty fast and he wasn't allowed to put his camera away?
Depends on the situation behind it. I mean,
Okay.
that's a separate thing. You have to
Sure.
actually say, I had to at this point in time. I has to have the right date on it. Everything has to line up. There's
Yeah,
all
I
kinds
buy
of
so
shit.
many cameras.
Well,
Alrighty.
Weasel News does, yeah.
Oh
Well,
no, I get mine
no.
separate. I get waterproof cameras.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he doesn't work for Weasel News, so he has to pay for his own cameras.
Oh, fair enough. Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you taking the time out to.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Like I said, it wasn't like an easy this or the other. The fact of the matter is, what you were asking for was not clearly defined.
I understand that, Your Honor.
This
So
is
you're asking
Nick's
for a
first
special
case,
damage.
just so you know.
No, I get
So,
it.
I think you
understand.
did
That's
well.
why I try to go back and forth and kind of help you out a little bit.
It's appreciated, Your Honor.
All right.
Fuck.
Well,
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna
your
see
time, Your
myself
Honor.
out, and hope y'all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks,
Take
we
care.
will do.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Well,